I want to be able to settle in and settle down and have exactly what I want. I want 5 bedrooms. I want to be close to the rest of the family. I want my kids enrolled in the same school. There's certain things that I want and certain things that I deserve to have. I like the routine that I'm developing with my kids. I really like it. You know, we've gotten more where we say prayers at night.
You and Mary, you guys feel like I'm giving you more by having you this far apart from each other.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi, besties. Okay, let's talk. We have been covering this lawsuit that was filed against Ysabel Brown in the state of Utah related to this accident that occurred back, I think, in 2023. If you're not aware, she was involved in a collision where she rear ended someone that was in front of her on a stretch of the interstate in Salt Lake, a very busy part of the interstate in an area where there's a ton of accidents. And in the complaint that was filed against her, the woman that is suing her has claimed that Ysabel is the person that caused the accident, and she's the one that hit someone, and then that person hit someone, and then that person hit someone. So she hit one person, and then that person in front of her hit another person, and that person hit the woman that's suing her. And the woman that's suing her is claiming that because she started it by rear-ending the individual behind in front of her and she wasn't paying attention, she was following too closely, it caused a chain reaction and she ultimately became very injured from it. Her lawsuit does not allege what injuries she sustained, nor does she allege the severity of them, only claiming that some of them could be permanent. And the lawsuit was filed 2 years after the accident occurred, but in the state of Utah, they have, I think, 4 years to file a lawsuit, so it's not outside the statute of limitations. There are absolutely no insurance companies listed on this lawsuit, and Ysabel responded to the lawsuit by admitting that she did rear end the person that was in front of her. She denied that she hit the woman that obviously was injured, and she also claimed that she lacked information to determine that it was because of what she did that it caused the injuries to the woman. And she also denied aspects of the woman's claims about how everyone else stopped, but she didn't, and it was all her fault. It's kind of a mess. She is asserting a bunch of different claims and also suggesting that she's not as at fault as what this woman is saying, and instead saying that the court needs to determine if she is found liable, to what percentage liability she has, and if it can be split across other people. And then she also told the court that it's clear that this woman may have received benefits from her own insurance company, and that needs to be taken into account before anything is paid out from her. So the lawsuit is remaining between Ysabel and the woman. Okay. Now, something interesting occurred a couple days ago, and that is that the woman ended up filing a offer of settlement. Okay, this can be done generally and typically it's by defendants, but a plaintiff in the state of Utah can file what's called a offer of judgment. So this is a offer where she's saying you can pay me this amount of money, it will meet all of these claims, and if you pay this, I will waive everything else that we have against you. This will settle the dispute. But if you don't accept this, you could be on the hook for this plus more if we move forward to trial and it's deemed that you are liable. So she filed it on the 20th, and under the law, they are supposed to file it 14 days before a trial would start. And then once the offer is initiated, the individual has 14 days to respond. So it says plaintiff agrees to accept $225,000. That's how much she's looking for from Ysabel. $225,000. The amount includes all applicable and accrued costs, attorney's fees, interest, and other sums to which plaintiff is or may be entitled. If the defendant agrees to allow the judgment in favor of Ysabel Brown in that amount to be entered against them. Plaintiff further agrees that acceptance of this offer shall constitute a full and complete settlement of all present claims which plaintiff has or may have against the defendant for their insurer regarding the incident of negligence which gives rise to this litigation. They represent and present this 14 days or more before a trial, and it will remain open for at least 14 days. And if it is not accepted by the defendant, they may be obligated to pay the plaintiff's costs incurred after the date of the offer. So what they're saying is that to this point, my medical expenses, my lost whatever wages, my pain, my suffering, the attorney's fees that I've had to spend bringing this case to court, and all of the fees associated are equal to $225,000. It would appear that she was served this on the 20th of August. It was sent to Ysabel's attorneys. And so far on September 11th, there has been no acceptance of this. So what that means is if she declines the settlement and they go to trial, it's giving Miss Ysabel an idea of what the out-of-pocket judgment could be against her. And it does sound like this judgment could go against her insurer. So I'm not sure if she is going to bring in or loop in the insurer at this point. And there's been nothing filed by an insurance company to this point. But it would appear that at least for now, they're going to go to trial. But if she were to lose Ysabel and it all goes into the favor of the plaintiff, that's a lot of money, a ton. Now, I've done research about accidents in this area, and I specifically looked up when there were chain reaction accidents and what kind of injuries were consistent or if people were getting seriously injured. And the answer is yes. In fact, in this very area, there have been accidents where people have died in similar types of accidents where it's a chain reaction. There's been accidents as recently as this year where people have had to be life flighted out of, the area of the interstate. The interstate had to be shut down for several hours as they cleared the accident scene. So it's a freeway. So there's a high probability here that she did have and may have sustained serious injuries. I don't know what they were. She hasn't disclosed that. And Ysabel has acknowledged that she caused the accident. So Utah has what's called the no fault state, but they also have another part where the first part the plaintiff has to go to their own insurer, and then her insurer will cover X amount because they have to carry a certain kind of insurance for their own self. So the first person to cover out and pay expenses would be the plaintiff's insurance company. If beyond that, there are damages and lost wages and there are expenses that exceed that, you can then go to the insurance company of the person that's at fault. And in order to determine who's at fault, they have a percentage where they basically view the accident and say, okay, if you are 51% more at fault than this other person, then you're deemed the person responsible. Ysabel was ticketed at the same time for following too close, causing an accident. So that would definitely be something against her. They will have to obviously bring in like accident reports and police reports, any investigative reports that were done of the accident scene to determine what happened. But if she received a ticket, there's an indication that she was somewhat at fault in this. To give you some level of understanding of like when something similar happened to Peyton, he was on the road in Nevada and he ended up rear-ending two women that were in a car together. Both of them sustained injuries. In that case, the total amount that they paid out was over $35,000. This was not on the freeway and it did not involve multiple cars. But Kody and Peyton fought that all the way to arbitration. And they went to an arbitrator who basically determined that based upon the hospital records, the accident records, the police records, that he was at fault and he was negligent. So it's to see an amount of $225,000 seems to tell me that whatever did happen, the accident caused serious injuries that may have required hospitalization. And in the state of Utah, in order to bring a negligence claim, you have to exceed $3,000 or more in expenses. So when I saw the $225,000, I was like, that is a huge number. Now, that doesn't mean that she'll win, but you have to have the assumption that in a court of law, the plaintiff's allegations are deemed true until proven otherwise and taken as fact by the court. And what happens next is they have a schedule that they're following. So if she decides that she is going to reject this as an offering, it will have Ysabel needs to respond to the initial disclosures. So the woman that's suing Ysabel has already provided Ysabel with initial disclosures, which is basically giving her the information that she has about her case, witnesses, and basic details. Okay. And Ysabel has until September 16th to respond, and she's going to provide hers to the woman. They're going to be in fact discovery, and that will end on April 14th. They have expert discovery due by November 10th of 2026. They have to have their alternative dispute resolution, which means basically like arbitration or a mediator, done by the same time, November 10th, and then a readiness for trial by the 10th of November of 26, all on my birthday. And then if there are any settlements or stipulations that occur before then, they are to notify the court. So she has already said she wants to go to trial. She wants a jury trial. That's what she has done. And the plaintiff here is just saying, well, if we go to trial and if you lose, just know that you will owe me beyond $225,000. Because if they go through the process of litigation and they have to do all of the discovery and go through the motions and then go through a trial, it's just going to add an exponential amount of money onto the already large bill that they claim is due to them. Sometimes in these types of cases, the insurance companies will settle because they don't want to go to trial. They don't want to increase the costs beyond what is already due. If it's a very clean cut case and they know they're at fault, they will settle. But if it's amounts that are questionable to the insurance company and they decide, I don't know if I believe this, or if there's other evidence that could suggest that other people or other parties were liable, they might take it to trial. So I don't know what's going to happen. He wants to go to trial. That's a lot of money. So I don't know what's going to happen. But these kinds of accidents are super common. People in my comments in Utah have said that Utah drivers are notoriously terrible drivers. I have no idea. That's what people keep saying is like, we're just really bad drivers here. We drive really fast. This is an area where there's a lot of speeding. There's tons of accidents. This is pretty typical in this area of Utah. So, yeah. That's what we have for the situation with Ysabel. Again, my only cross comparison is what happened to Peyton. And I don't think in the case with Peyton and Kody that Peyton had insurance. So I super, super hope that there's insurance here, because if there's not insurance, that's a massive judgment against a very young woman that's in college. She might have parents that are on reality television that make a ton of money, but Ysabel's not making a ton of money. And that's a big, heavy weight to put on someone. And for the woman suing her, I haven't disclosed her identity, but I did find that she is a professional. She is a very well educated person. She appears to have been within the LDS faith and she is college educated. I don't, doesn't appear to be someone that would be fabricating this based on like what her occupation is and what she does for a living, because she has a good occupation. So I don't think the money issue is maybe the motive here. It could be that she did sustain serious injuries. So really the question here is, how the liability works and if Isabel's responsible. So, yeah, that's what we have for now. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.